Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'll start with the dua, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. O my Lord, expand for me my chest, ease my task for me, and remove the impediment from my speech, so they may understand what I say. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل الله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Verily all praises for Allah, we praise Him and seek His aid, and whomsoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray no one can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his slave and messenger. To proceed. A reminder for all of us that why are we all here? That we renew our intentions. Every single moment, whenever we can, this should be our focus. Like, have it printed literally in front of your eyes. Intention, intention, intention. And that's really important, because whatever our intentions are, we are rewarded for that. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Every action is judged by intention. So let's renew our intentions while we're here. You know, what is this session about? Is it just about gaining knowledge, or is it about changing ourselves? Is it about taking something away and becoming the best version of ourselves? What are we taking away from this? That's one of the key points that we want to continuously remember in everything we do. You know, this is time, it's precious. So make your intention count. Make this an ibadah, and make this something that you do it for the sake of Allah, that it becomes a worship. And through this, Allah, you get the help of Allah subhanahu to change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Verily, Allah does not change the condition of people until they change what is within themselves. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to change ourselves, because we can't change other people. We can help, we can signpost. I mean, that's what we do. You know, we're always influencing other people, giving advices, trying to help support each other. But really what we can only do is change ourselves. And when we change ourselves, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He will change the condition of the people. And the people means, obviously, people you would know, people around you will change as well. So are your thoughts? What do you think? How much of your thoughts is you? Lots of interaction, girls. How much of your thoughts is you?
Does it depend on how consistent your thoughts are, the type of thoughts you have? So if you're constantly having good thoughts about others, good thoughts and positive thoughts of gratitude, contentment, happiness, maybe that's indicative of how maybe your character, how good you are as a Muslim.
Okay, so mashallah. So that kind of thoughts create certain characteristics about you, the way you come about with people, right? Like, for example, your actions. If you're positive, you'll get positive action or reaction, or you start to think positive all the time, or act positive all the time. But how much of your thoughts is you? It's a good point.
Yes.
How much of your thoughts is you?
Yeah, so I thought that if you have you're having like consistent thoughts, maybe that characterizes you as a person.
Yeah, so that becomes your belief, right?
Yeah.
That becomes your belief. So you start believing that thought is who you are or how you are.
Like on the contrary, like if you had really a lot of person always having doubtful thoughts, always having suspicious thoughts, and maybe that's indicative of what kind of heart you have, what kind of character you have. therefore, maybe.
That's a very good point, Sister. Jazakumullah khairan for that. Okay, so some of you you believe, oh, okay, and I'm not going to say anything. I want you all to, because it's about you to think now. Today, it's about you thinking about your thoughts. Really thinking about the thoughts. All the time we're talking about how to manage your thoughts, all of this. I want you to think about the thought itself. Some sisters are saying, yeah, I think, yeah, you think this is definitely you think you are your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. Thoughts can be random, continuous thoughts that you sit on, become part of you. Good. Okay. I want you all to think. I'm going to make you all close your eyes, please. Wherever you are, just close your eyes. Just relax for a few minutes. Put everything away. So if you're multitasking, ideally you shouldn't be. Because if you're focused, you're going to really see this, right? So, girls, I would like you to just relax. Very hard to do, I know, in a busy life. Relax. Sit down, and I'm going to take you to a negative thought. Maybe something happened. Someone said something to you, criticized you. You've done something. Maybe you've cooked a really nice dish that you really were proud of because you worked hard on it. And instead of appreciation, you got a lot of criticism. I want you to think about it. I know it doesn't feel nice when you think about it, but I want you to think about it. Just keep your eyes closed as you're thinking about it. Don't think about anything else. I want you to think about that one person. I know there might be 100 people. You might think about just one person. That could be that moment where you felt really upset with that person because of something that they've said or done, anything. What was your reaction? What were you thinking? Think about what you were thinking when you were getting hurt. What were you thinking? I want you to think about what you were thinking. If you can, write down the different types of thoughts will come into your mind. Now, if I ask you girls, how much of that scenario was real? And how much was in your mind? What percentage would you give it? So if I say 90% was real, 10% was made up in my mind, or 90% was in my mind and 10% was real. How much would you say was real? In your mind, in your thoughts, everything that you're thinking of.
Does Tahmina, does this depend on events that led up to the things that made you feel the way you felt about that person?
Yes. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything. So it's just that one scenario, and what well, I want you to think about all the thoughts that surrounded that scenario. Like, for example, I'm going to give an example, right? Like my friend, I'm going to make up a whole entire scenario, but I'm just going to. My friend said to me, "Oh, where did you get that dress from?" Attitude. Obviously, I was looking at her attitude. It didn't look very positive. I was thinking, okay, what's wrong with my dress? What's her problem? Oh, do I look nice? Is this dress inappropriate? All these things that went on in my head. That was just a small example. That was not even negative. That was just a comment. Bigger scenarios. I didn't enjoy that food. Next time, can you cook something nicer, please? All the thoughts that go into your head. Are they always thoughts in that moment? Do we stay in the moment, or do we? What's one of this very loud? Or do we often move on to other thoughts? Watch next time. You know, I always do this. No one really helps me. You know, they're always judging me. I've gone into the past. How much of my thoughts stay focused on the moment? So if and I want one of you girls, if you're brave enough, to volunteer so that I can do this exercise with you. If you can. Your thoughts, scenario, how much is real? Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone brave enough to volunteer?
I volunteer.
Oh. Okay, Azra, yeah? Sister Azra, Jazakallah khairan for volunteering. I don't know why it's gone really loud with these notifications, so please, if you can hear it, bear with. Yeah, it's really loud, but I don't just come on quite suddenly. Everyone that's coming in, it's just really loud. But okay, so when I asked you to think of a scenario, and I want you girls, everyone to hear this, right? Not to judge, but just to hear it, because I'm sure everyone went through this. So when I asked you to think of a negative scenario, are you comfortable to tell us what the scenario is?
Yeah, I can. I have an issue with my mum. Very, very bad issues in childhood. So yeah, I'm always in conflict with her. I mean, the slightest thing she says, it sets me off in a negative environment, because I've always felt negativity around her, and everything she expresses or she talks is always negative towards me. So me and her haven't really formed a relationship. So anything that she says, it triggers me, and I become very, very angry with her. I don't know if those are my thoughts, but I actually feel it. I feel it 100%. What she says affects me.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah. So I
don't particular point, one particular moment, like that one moment, one comment, just one comment. So it could be just that one comment, because obviously if we think
comment is that I wish she wasn't here.
So about you?
Yeah, I wish I wasn't here, and I wish she wasn't here.
Okay, so that's the comment. So how did that make you feel? So what were you thinking when she said that? So that is the statement that we're working on. So she said this statement, right? So what were the thoughts you were having at that time?
I was having hatred towards her.
So that's the feeling.
Yeah, but then my thoughts were, but my thoughts were like, why me? Why is it that, she never finds any goodness in me? It's always negative in me. That's what my thoughts were. That's it really. Okay,
so when you were thinking, why were you thinking, why does she always find something negative in me? When you were thinking, why does she always find something negative in me? What was your thoughts behind that? Where did that
I
come from?
don't. It comes from the way she talks and her persona around her. She's always had this, you know, she always belittles. It's always a belittled feeling that I feel, you know, the thoughts I have that I'm not good enough for her. Nothing I do is good enough for her. Those are my thoughts. So why everyone else is good, everyone else has flaws, but it's just like I'm always picked on.
Okay, so that's how you're feeling, right?
Yeah, but my thoughts are the same. The feelings and the thoughts are definitely both the same.
You're feeling hurt.
Yeah,
So
feel
that
very, very
feeling is coming from
It's
because of the
yeah, it's not the
experience you've had.
feelings of it's how she says it, and that's the thoughts that come into my head is that I wish she was no more on this earth.
Okay, so
That
that's,
my thoughts are, yeah, my thoughts really, really, really upset me when she says hurtful things.
so when she says these things, your thoughts go into I wish, so into the future. I wish, I mean, if this didn't exist, this wouldn't have happened. Or if she wasn't here right now, then I wouldn't have this feeling.
Yeah.
So you're going, but the actual scenario itself hasn't changed, has it? Your thoughts
No.
have gone, your thoughts have
Yeah.
changed. Your thoughts have gone to the past, to the future, or surrounding everything else.
Yeah.
The reality is, it was that statement and the way she said it, right?
Yeah.
She made a statement. She made a statement that I wish you weren't here and I wish I wasn't here. Right? That's a statement and her attitude, which is a reality.
Yeah.
Whatever else she was thinking of you, that you were thinking that she was thinking of you, you don't know. That's not.
Sorry?
Whatever she was thinking of you. Can you
Yeah.
hear me, girls?
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever,
It just sort of cuts
whatever
in
she was
between.
thinking of you, or whatever you think she was thinking of you, you don't know that for a fact. You might feel like this, but you don't know that for a fact.
I do know because
At this moment,
yeah, okay.
you don't know what she's thinking.
No.
Right? The only fact that you know is that she made a statement that was very hurtful.
Yeah.
So your experience, whatever you were thinking then, came from your experience of the past, or what you went through, or what you were thinking that she means by it. So your thoughts created a story behind those words. Now those words are true as a statement.
Okay.
At the moment, at this moment.
Okay.
But we don't know what's behind that statement. We are, at this moment, what you're thinking is, she said this, it's very hurtful, you know, and you're riding on that statement, right?
Yeah.
Most of it is thoughts, because you've gone back into the past, you've gone into the future.
Okay.
You've gone into all of these feelings that have been obviously welling up inside you for all these years of feeling unworthy, not being belittled, not being given your worth, no matter how much you do. Obviously, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
How much of it do you believe? Did you start believing that about yourself then?
Yeah. I believe in everything that she says. Yeah.
So because now I want everyone else to see the scenario as well, because it happens to all of us girls. This is the reality of how we are. We start to believe what other people say about us. And that's why we start believing our thoughts. And when we start believing our thoughts, we start labeling ourselves and not, for example, here, sister, you know, your situation, you know, it's not a nice situation, but it's something that you have control over. You don't have to be that thought, that belief. Because if you believe it, if you sit on it long enough, like the other sister said, earlier, the longer you believe it, the longer you're on that thought, you will make a belief about it. It will become a belief, and you will find it harder to come out of it. So if anyone says something to you, a comment similar to this, you will start feeling very, very negative about yourself, because you have a negative belief about you, right? Because of what's happened in the past, and certain fears and guilt and so forth. You know, even the
Mm.
thought that, you know, I feel really bad about what I have just thought about,
Yeah,
right?
I get
Even,
that. Yeah, I get that a
even
lot of
that is
times.
going to create beliefs about you, And obviously, we're not talking about beliefs today, so I'm just touching on beliefs, but I'm coming back to
Okay.
thoughts. It
Okay.
all comes back to our thoughts. It all comes back to our thoughts again and again and again. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are things that come, they're fleeting, they come and they go. It's meant to come and go. Only things we reflect on, and we've been told to reflect on, really, and we can reflect on every single thing, but reflection should not be so deep that it takes us to a negative place. Reflection should take us to Allah, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that we are reflecting people. Problem is when we start believing other people. And whether that, and we as human beings, who do we love the most? Our moms, right? Our parents. When we are born, we have expectations of them, which is natural. We have a certain love for them because, you know, we grew up under them. We have that, and naturally you're going to have that. But if you start believing that anything that someone says is true about you, that's when you're going to build beliefs, because you are not the thoughts that you have built beliefs around you. They're just thoughts. The longer you sit on that thought, the longer you'll, the more stronger, not longer, the more stronger your beliefs about you will become on that.
Then how do you get out of it?
Opposing beliefs, my dear. Okay, so
Okay.
is it true that you're not worthy?
Oh yeah, I do feel that I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. I don't know. I just have this feeling that whatever people have said to me along the family, everybody, I just believe that they all I've been labelled all my life, so I think it's just sort of stuck with me.
So you're stuck with it. That's what, because you believe you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I ask you, think of an elephant. What were the color of the elephant you thought of?
A black one.
Why do you think of a black one?
Because that's the first thing that came in my head. Didn't think of any other color.
I mean, there could be so many different colors. Gray, multicolored, like Elma. I don't know what is the Elmo.
Elmo, yeah. No, but the first thing that came into my head was black elephant.
Maybe one of your earliest recollections of elephants were black or dark gray or whatever color that came in your mind. And maybe that's the color that is fixated in your mind. You can change that thought. When I said multicolored or Elma, did it change?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
But how did it change? Because when I said Elma, when I said multicolored, you probably thought something like a rainbow. When I said Elma, did it change to squares?
Yeah, it did. Make me slightly, I don't know, it just changed me. I don't know. Yeah, when I felt Elma, I felt a bit of peace. Going
back to childhood, right? The stories that you probably went back to. It was just in your mind. It was just in your mind.
Yeah.
So you can go from feeling negative, upset, all of that to be positive if you can change your mindset. If you can, it's just a mindset thing. Really, it's about mind. If our mind is the biggest power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And that's why Shaitan was so jealous of Adam alayhi salam, right? Because of the mind, the knowledge, and you know, he was just, in the sight of Shaitan, he was just mud, nothing, right? From the low. And then he's been given so much ni'mah, so much blessing, so much knowledge, subhanAllah, such a high status. We have that because we are the children of Adam alayhi salam. Believe it. Do we believe that we were created as the best of forms?
Yeah.
Do you believe that about yourself?
I do believe about that. Yeah, I do. I was created in the best of molds, but I believe that, yes, and that those are my thoughts. But I think, you know, people, they overpower that for me.
Can they?
Yeah.
Remember the image of the elephant. You can have the dark, you can have the black elephant, or you can have Elma.
I'd rather have Elma then.
So how are you going to change it to Elma? And you see it all in your mind, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you don't deserve the love and care, right?
Mm.
That's your current belief. I want you to change that. I want you to say, I deserve love and care because I am a creation of Allah and Allah loves me. Can you say that to me?
Sorry, can you repeat that again? I lost.
Can you say that loud and clear? Say it to me 10 times. I deserve. So
I
in your mind,
deserve.
because you're saying what you're thinking, and you have to say it.
Okay. I deserve love, respect,
And care.
because I am Allah's creation. You know, the best of creations.
Yeah. And say that 10 times.
Again, I deserve love and respect and worthiness because I am created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm the best.
I am the best of creation. Say that 10 times, please.
Okay, I am worthy, and I am loved, and I'm the best of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creations. I am where I deserve. Sorry, I can't repeat it.
However you're comfortable with. This is about you.
Okay, I deserve love and affection because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me in the best of molds.
Yep.
I deserve happiness. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me in the best of molds. I deserve love because I was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best of molds. Can I say that? Stop now.
Yeah. How did that feel as you were saying it?
I felt better. It did feel better, yeah.
Your mom didn't change. How did you feel better?
She hasn't changed, yes, but I've blocked her from my thoughts. I was busy reciting this and sort of made me feel better.
Because you believe the more you're going to do this, the more you believe in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you, and that you're worthy because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you that worth. You won't depend on other people to give you that worth.
Yeah.
And this is all starts from our mind, right? It's just, look, it won't go overnight. This is not a magic pill, girls, right?
Yeah.
But our minds, all these years, we've gone into a default where we've believed negativity, right? That I can't, I'm not. Like we can change it to I can and I am. So I am not my thoughts. I am the creation of Allah. I am the best creation of Allah, created in the best of forms. How did that change so many of our thoughts? How did that change our abilities? You know, take away our fears, because if I am created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best of forms, through my faults, through my mistakes, even through my sins, I learn and I move on. And I turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to shower me with his mercy, forgiveness, and his love. The sky is not even the limit, girls. Jannah is waiting for us. When we can see it like that, you know, we say sky is the limit. No, that's just the beginning. So when we are sitting, hold on a minute. Can you guys see the screen now, yeah? Okay, so when we are just sitting in those thoughts all the time and focusing on that thought of negativity, of what other people are saying, we're not seeing the real scenario. The scenario is, for you, Azra, your mom said something.
Yeah.
You only believed it because you had beliefs about it yourself. when that changes, that no, I am worthy, I deserve to live, I deserve to be here because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me this space, this life, this breath.
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell me whether I believe I should be here or not.
That's a very good answer. Yeah.
But that's the reality. This is the reality. Nobody needs,
Yeah.
you know, as long as I am okay with Allah and I have my space with Allah and I'm comfortable, that is just enough.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Can you see how it changes? You are not your
Yeah.
thoughts. So all that thoughts is pushed out. You saw something else. You saw you. And you are not your thoughts. Yes, your thoughts are part of you, just like your body is a part of you, your, you know, feelings and everything is a part of you. But you don't have to be your thoughts, because they're just something that we're going to have every single day. Just like the elephant, you don't become an elephant because you thought of it.
Yeah.
Right? Just because
Yeah.
you thought you're not worthy, that you don't become unworthy. But it is what you focus on that grows.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. What you focus on, it grows.
SubhanAllah. So anybody else want to share a reflection? Jazakumullah khairan. That was so brave of you, Azra. Really,
Jazakallah
that you were able to bring such a, you know, important phase of your life to the public and to the sisters here, mashallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Sister Nabila, you want to share something? Oh, sorry, no, I thought you had muted yourself. Anyone else want to share something? What did you take away, girls? Anyone feels that Sister Azra's brave scenario, subhanAllah? What are your takeaways? What have you taken away from her scenario? Khadija.
Assalamu alaikum. It was very interesting what the scenario which you discussed with the sister. The only thing is that if you make that statement, you know, positive statement, what if she makes this lovely positive statement every single day, but she has the same stuff's happening to her with her mum? How is that going to make her feel? I mean, if the same scenario is still happening in her life, but she's every day 20 times looking in the mirror and saying this, I mean, will it really change? Or what? I don't know what will happen at that point. You know, like if she's doing this every day, will it be that? I don't know what would happen then if you do this, but the scenario stays the same. Or what happens if it's what if it's verbal, like she's all verbal with her, and so she's just thinking, what happens if it's physical? Somebody like has physically said or done something that makes you feel worthless. Then would it be like if you just stood at the mirror and said that 20 times, that you still become worthy? And
everything has its limitations. So this is what we're talking about, is your thoughts at the moment of the certain thing that's already happened, right? Or it's happening at this moment, maybe, like it's a continuous thing. Certain things need action. That's a must. Like, for example, I can say do sabr, but sabr has its limit. Like, for example, if somebody comes in and burgles your house, and if someone says do sabr, no, you have to call the police. You have to take action, right? I'm not going to say that do sabr, you know, what's gone has gone. No, what's gone has gone. Somebody invaded your home. You don't just do sabr here. You have to take action. You have to, if somebody came and kidnapped a kid, Allahumma fadlan, may Allah protect us from that. You don't say, oh, do sabr. It's happened now, right? You have to act upon that. You have to go find that kid. You have to send out. So we're not, that part is separate to the fact that how do we react in our minds? What do we do? Do I just fall into this belief that, you know what, that person has taken my child, you know, or that has happened to me because of me? I can't control somebody else. I can't control the fact that somebody's got a negativity around me, for example. I can't change that. What I can change is whether I get impacted by it or not, how my beliefs are, just like Musa alayhi salam and the people. And this is something that when I initially studied it, I thought it was phenomenally amazing, you know, when you go through the examples of the prophets, but reflecting on the lives of the Sahabi and on the lives of the prophets, what we learn is how when we have fears, when we go through certain things in our lives, two different people in the same scenario will have different reactions because of what they're thinking. When the people of Musa alayhi salam, they were confronted, they were at the edge, they were, you know, if anyone's been to the Red Sea, it's a massive sea in front of you, right? No exit. You can swim. How long are you going to swim? So now you're going to face the enemies. You're going to face the Firaun, who he thought he was the king, you know, the king. He thought he was God. So it was a really, really difficult situation. And the Bani Israel, they said at that point, what they said, what they were thinking, because they felt that they were overtaken. That they said, we are overtaken for sure. Like, that's it, we're doomed. Negative mindset. But remember what Musa said at that time, because he had belief, he had yaqeen, and he, you know, these things don't just happen every day. It just doesn't happen every day. You know, rocks don't just give out water. You know, they do, but just because you hit it, it doesn't happen. The whole entire sea is not going to split apart. But Musa alayhi salam, he said, Kalla, inna ma'aya rabbi sayahdeen. Absolutely not. My Lord is certainly with me. He will guide me. It was his yaqeen. He was so sure Allah was with him that he did not have the same wavelength of negativity, that feeling, that pain. He wasn't going through what the other people were going through, the Bani Israel were going through, because his mindset was, I have Allah. And what did Allah do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected them, saved them in ways that we cannot imagine. When you have taqwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open ways for you, give, you know, that you cannot ever imagine. So this is what it is. When we are going through a negative situation, we can be negative and feel the negativity and feel unworthy, or we can say, no, alhamdulillah, this is not about me. I'm trying my best. I'm not going to make it about me. I'm worthy. Just because somebody else says something, that doesn't make anything about me. I'm going to try my best. If that is a fault within me, by the way, guys, if that's a fault within me and I recognize it, something I can change. Something about someone else I can't change. So only I can change myself. Does that help, Khadija?
Yeah, it's beautiful, mashallah, what you've said. I think it's just that I think we forget that part, because as even you were saying all that, I just remembered that particular dua. I have been praying it for a long time.
Yes.
And I actually picture, I mean, obviously I don't know what Musa alayhi salam looks like, but just picture Musa alayhi salam at that moment with the ocean wide open and the path being there. And he has, and I have prayed like that, thinking of that, you know, that how him, obviously, I think even prophets are human beings, so they will have felt something, but in that very moment of overwhelm, they thought of Allah and had that true belief that Allah is going to help me. And he had that stick anyway, which he threw in the sea, and then the path opened, you know. And I always even go a bit, because I'm quite imaginative, like, just imagine a path opening in the sea and how deep it is, and these waves will be just like high up, but they won't be coming together because Allah has instructed them to stay apart, and everybody has to walk through that path with these mountains of waves which don't move forward because Allah has instructed them to stay apart. So it is a really powerful thing, and the dua is very powerful.
Yeah.
And again, I think one of the things straight away when you've said this, what I've thought is that, and it reminds me of Ayyub alayhi salam as well, that he didn't get better overnight when he got ill. It took years and years. So sometimes this belief what we have about ourselves and negative belief, it won't go away overnight. But inshallah, if we have that positive thought about Allah Ta'ala and he's with you, and he has said we are the best of creation. I can really relate to that sister, how she's feeling, and because I feel similar about myself, that I'm not worthy. I don't know when I'll make that statement from my heart to say I am worthy, but you know, that and I suppose there'll be loads of sisters out there who feel like that.
Yeah,
you know. So the thing is that the first step one is just think we are the best of creation. You know, if you can get our head around that, then I think the second step would be worthy of love and care. And
it's
just
one step at a time.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner in one go. You need to take it one step at a time, because it's gradual. It's gradual. You have to, you know, just because I'm hungry and I feel like having a breakfast and lunch and dinner doesn't mean I'm going to have it all together. I can. I'm going to be overwhelmed. I have to take everything one step at a time and realize that change doesn't happen just, you know, you can get inspired, but it is something that when Nabi Sallallahu said that the action that Allah SWT loves the most is action that is done continuously, little but often. So when we want to make change, we're going to have to do it little but often, because that's how we're going to make proper change. It's going to become part of our default, inshallah. So Jazakallah khairan, Khadija, for your insights. Fahima, only got time for one more sister to give you insights.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just wanted to say, sorry, I did join a little bit late, but just to that sister Azra, first of all, you know, Allah make your situation easy for you, and I think it takes a lot. First of all, I think, you know, to make, you know, it can feel very vulnerable when you share something like that to a complete, you know, group of strangers, and on top of that, we're all sort of, you know, just voices. So yeah, I just want to say that, you know, that you have a lot of, you know, respect, and I think it takes a lot. So yeah, don't just wanted to appreciate that you did that, and you may have helped, you know, so many of us who probably have similar things and not able to say it. And one thing that I just wanted to share, some like, you know, sister was saying, you know, how does thinking differently sometimes, how's it going to transform things? Or and one thing that I just wanted to share was often find that our thoughts can causes chain reactions. So as you've kind of experienced, the way we think about something has a profound impact on the way we feel and then our behaviors. And so sometimes when we can even start, like you said, with the small step of maybe just saying something out loud differently to ourselves, it may be that even in that moment your kind of certainty and belief in it isn't going to be 100% overnight, but sometimes just saying something differently can start that chain reaction. And it might be that in the beginning it just helps you to cope differently in the situation you're in, that maybe there are elements of it you can't control because it's beyond your control, but it might help us to better relate to ourselves and also to relate to that situation differently. So as opposed to just maybe accepting what the negativity someone's throwing onto me, it might be that I'm able to actually create a bit of distance from it, and that actually helps me emotionally feel different, and therefore I'm able to cope with that a little bit better. And then hopefully I think sometimes it can then impact our behavior and how we choose to maybe be around, or how, you know, things that we do to maybe minimize or just strengthen that relationship with Allah, which then strengthens those thoughts. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. That's something I've noticed, is that the way we think can have it has a profound impact on our thoughts and our emotions and behaviors, and it can set off a chain reaction. And yeah, ultimately, inshallah, it kind of makes us kind of develop our thoughts are more and more occupied with the relationship that we have with our Lord.
SubhanAllah. So it's all connected. Our body, mind, and spirit. Like our spirituality, how we are, our connection with Allah, and our body and our mind. They're all connected. SubhanAllah. So sometimes we actually, because of what we're thinking, we start feeling. And when we're feeling something, so if you start feeling negative, you feel demotivated. So even if you've got to do something, you won't feel as good to do something, because your physical body is feeling sluggish now because your mind is feeling low. It has a connection. So, but if we have a connect our mind to positivity, like no matter what's happened, look, alhamdulillah, I can do this. I can change my attitude. I can. Your body also reacts to that. Like, you know what? Yes, I can. Let it go. So that's there. And also the spirituality, when you're connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you're connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know that He's there. You have hope, you have love, you have mercy, you have forgiveness. You know, you have everything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's at the core of our existence. Everything else becomes secondary, even those people who are really close to us. So Jazakumullah khairan, Fahima, for that. One of the sisters asked that, is it more challenging when it comes from someone you care about? Yeah, of course, care about and value, because obviously the closer the person is, the more it's going to hurt. But these are different topics we're going to, and different things that we can really go into it deeper. Like, you know, when one of the sisters said, what do we do in this scenario when it gets too much? Maybe it's like continuous and so forth. We took, and in different sessions, we talked about setting boundaries, balance, and behavior. So the 3Bs coming here, talked about choices, control, and the changes that we have power over. That's a whole entire topic, and how we can incorporate them to make improvements, so that other people can also see that actually we're not going to accept that behavior. But how do we do it? Is our attitude, because our core manners, how we are behaving towards people, how our character is, my ABC, my attitude, my behavior, my character. Like how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, no matter how the disbelievers were with him, he came to them with the best of manners, right? How is my manners at that time? And if I'm just coming from a negative place, then obviously I'm not going to be showing the best of manners. So if I'm connected with Allah, if I'm connected with the inner peace that I have, and I'm not thinking about what they're doing, I'm thinking about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with me, my attitude would automatically be more merciful, be more loving, more caring. And I'm just really, really going over this very briefly, girls. You know, this is much more deeper than just a few words. And, you know, much more, you know, as you can imagine, subhanAllah, the feelings that goes behind it, you know, it needs a lot of uprooting, because we've got a lot of deep grown beliefs. Like my belief about 2-3 years ago was I cannot talk online in Zooms, or I can't record myself, but that was just a belief. Alhamdulillah, you've all heard me today. You've all heard me talking today, and I'm recording myself. So you see, it was a belief, it was a negative belief about myself that's changed. We can change anything if we believe we can. It's your attitude. And you know, the ulama of the past, the scholars of the past, the first thing that they used to learn, and to the point that they used to learn this for, you know, some of them used to learn for first 20 years of their life. What we're teaching our children in primary school, all of this, right? Early education, all they did was manners. When their attitude, when their manners, when their character was at the highest limit, the highest point, then they went to learn knowledge, right? That's when they said, okay, now I'm ready to go and learn knowledge, because my character is there. So how are we correcting our characters? Obviously, it is very difficult. We need the best of examples, and the best of examples are Sahaba and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the prophets. We need to learn about them and learn how to undo some of the beliefs that we've got, a lot of the beliefs that we've got. I think there's a few comments. I'll just quickly read them out, and then we'll more or less end our session. It's been quite a long time. So yes, one of the sisters said, isn't some of what they say supposed to mean what we end up thinking maybe on a bigger scale? Yes, whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus on it, you're going to believe it. I am the best of creation. I deserve love and care, subhanAllah. Affirmations are a powerful tool. Yes, and we're doing that every day. When we do the adhkar, girls, they're not just empty words. They are real words. The more you say La ilaha illallah, the more you feel. The more you say subhanallah, the more you feel. If you feel, the more you're going to say it. That's why we do adhkar, because it's not just that I say I believe and I don't, go over the words of Allah repeatedly. We don't do that adhkar. We do this because it reinstills belief into our hearts again and again and again. If you've got opposing beliefs, reinstill that with positive beliefs that connect us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I guess we never control on other people. We can only control ourselves. Exactly. And even then, we have, waswas and all of that, and we still have to manage ourselves. It's not just once I've mastered it, that's it. I'm the master. No, we're going to have to continuously work on it, because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, and he taught us how. He taught us that, the greater jihad is the jihad of the nafs, because it's the greatest struggle is just struggle with yourself, your inner self, continuously struggling to make yourself better. I have found on occasion I have lost control of myself. Yes, and obviously that's the only person that you can control. You can change, with so many different ways. I can't change anyone unless they want to change themselves. Exactly. And Jazakumullah khairan, really, sisters, for sharing, especially Sister Azra, for sharing your very, heart-touching, scenario. I'm sure a lot of sisters have gone through similar, with different relationships and different people. So Jazakumullah khairan for sharing and helping other sisters to overcome some of these issues. Okay, so we'll end with a dua, inshallah. And please do share your reflections in the group. I'll open the group, the Sister Seeking Salam group. Do share your reflections. If you didn't get a chance to say anything in the group, here now, please do share it in the group. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتوب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah khairan.
وإياكم. السلام عليكم.